Start camera.
Rolling.
Clap.
In a small village called Tumbaman Patanamtita, district of Kerala, where dreams are as vast as the sky, one person's unwavering spirit is about to change everything. Meet Mr. C.O. Mathews, a village boy with a vision growing up amid simplicity. His dreams were anything but ordinary. A routine that fuels his soul, gazing up the endless sky. Post-supper popping endless questions as where does it all begin? The stars, the dreams, the journey. Where is the starting line? From sketching dreams in his little mind, he also started unearthing the history of his roots, a treasure that reminds us to stay grounded no matter how far we traveled. His journey is a blend of passion and heritage. His story is one of perseverance, passion, and purpose. You are taken on a journey that spans decades, continents, and countless achievements.
So while I'm sitting with you on the very same bench,
Yes,
where in the very same class,
we're the same class.
where of Muttam LP school,
Correct.
where you learned how to hold a pencil.
Exactly.
So what is the first or any memory that you have in your mind?
The first thing that comes to my mind now is that a story that I said in my book, which is a letter that I wrote to my third or fourth grade teacher, Eliama, because my mother punished me, and then the next day she came back and she said that was a good letter. And then I used that as a way of getting out of trouble, which means I wrote a letter saying to my teacher, this is what I did. And then she said, your letter was very good. And then she had a little bit few words with me saying, is that how I have to respect my parents? And I would say my writing skill started when I was roughly about third grade or fourth grade. I don't know exactly. Many times you have the same teacher for the two classes. So that is a fond memory that I took it with me, otherwise how would I remember put that in my book? And it was astonishing, the school history. I didn't think it was still here. So that made me happy that I can come back and sit down here and do, as a person pretty older than anybody else you can think in this town. That's the memory.
So I would say that is she must be your favorite teacher from this school?
Yeah.
She must be your favorite teacher?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So do you like or dislike any subjects? Like what was your favorite subject at this point of time?
I was very good with math. Okay.
Math
All my family is, most of them have something to do with the math. It was math and we did very good. And our first grandfather was appointed as the Tharagan, which means is that you're tax collector.
So it comes from runs in your genes.
Exactly.
Okay. Did you dislike any subject that you didn't want to get into the class?
No, not when I was elementary or in middle school. And then that was the best subject. But I always liked Malayalam. I love to read and I love to sing about it. And I want to be a poet.
Yes.
Okay, because my mother sang good and I usually sing with her. So if I could choose one subject for a college degree, it will be Malayalam. I tried to do it a couple of times. My mother said, you cannot, you're going to take physics because I want an engineer. So the mother. nothing to discuss. So Malayalam and math. Until middle school, I did always straight A's, 100 out of 100.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when all things changed.
So do you have any friends? Do you remember any friends from here? Do you had the same friends from here to your higher secondary school?
I have only one friend left. So of course I am CEO Mathews, and his name is K.M. Mathew. He lived just about half a mile, and we went all the way through college from the first grade.
So when you look back, is there any memory that brings a small smile on your face?
The greatest thing that when I saw today for the first time in 25 years, I recognized the arch. There was no arch.
Okay.
This was just flat to the ground. So we were not allowed to go to the front. So the only place when you get this break was the back.
Okay.
You know, and
This
that tiny,
place, yeah.
that's it. And the girls knew this thing because once we get in there, they ain't getting in there. So they don't even go to the bathroom, just run over there and clap. So
Grab
they
them.
can play this, yeah.
Please.
And then once in a while, I used to go in there and try to talk to my sister, who was my older sister from Trivandrum, very prominent, very cute, very white, and very smart. And then I go in there and try to talk to her to distract her, so they will get up and go. And then she get mad and she just go this. And she's 2 years older than me, and then of course then, so she, that was the other situation here. And it's very fond, heartfelt thanks. If they wanted me to do something, I will do it.
Absolutely.
I like to give because
It's a great gesture that you're doing.
I don't want it. My kids don't want it. They don't want to hear it. I thank God. Many of them still depend on your kids, and they're not wealthy, but they have enough.
ഇത് മുഴുക്കോട്ട് ചാലാണ്. ഇവിടാണ് ചെറുപ്പത്തിൽ മാത്യുച്ചാൻ വന്ന് കളിക്കുകയും ഒരു ഫുട്ബോൾ ടീം തന്നെ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. എല്ലാവരും ഇവിടെ കളിച്ച് രസിച്ച് ചാടി കുളത്തിലും ചാടിയൊക്കെ അങ്ങനെ കഴിയുന്ന ഒരു കാലം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ അങ്ങ് അമേരിക്കയിൽ പോയി. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് പിന്നെ ഒരു 2008 തൊട്ടാണ് ഞങ്ങളുമായിട്ട് കൂടുതൽ ബന്ധങ്ങളുള്ളത്. എന്തു പറഞ്ഞാലും തുമ്മണുമായിട്ട് എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞാലും ഞങ്ങൾ തമ്മിൽ സംസാരിച്ചാണ് കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം നടത്തുന്നത്.
മാത്യൂസ് അച്ഛൻ്റെ അപ്പച്ചനുമായിട്ട് നല്ല പരിചയം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. കാരണം ഞങ്ങൾ വളരെ കുഞ്ഞായിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ അപ്പച്ചനുമായിട്ട് നല്ല സഹകരണം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇവിടെ വന്ന് മീൻ പിടിക്കുകയും പിന്നെ ഞങ്ങളെ ഒരുപാട് ഉപദേശിക്കുകയൊക്കെ ചെയ്യും. സൺഡേ സ്കൂളിൽ പോകണം, അങ്ങനെ ആവണം, ഇങ്ങനെ ആവണം എന്ന് ഒരുപാട് എപ്പോൾ കണ്ടാലും ഒരുപാട് ഉപദേശിക്കുന്ന അപ്പച്ചനായിരുന്നു. ഞങ്ങൾ തോപ്പിലെ അപ്പച്ചൻ എന്നാണ് വിളിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നത്.
ഞങ്ങൾ ബേക്കുട്ടിച്ചാൻ എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്ന അച്ഛൻ്റെ പിതാവിൻ്റെ പേര് ഞങ്ങൾ വിളിക്കുന്ന കുഞ്ഞുമച്ചാൻ അപ്പച്ചൻ എന്നായിരുന്നു. അന്നേരം അപ്പച്ചനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞാൽ രാവിലെ ഞായറാഴ്ച എന്ന് പറയുന്നൊരു ദിവസം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ രാവിലെ ആദ്യം പള്ളി വരുന്ന ഒരു വ്യക്തിത്വമായിരുന്നു അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഇളയ മകളുമായിട്ടാണ് പള്ളിയിലേക്ക് വരുന്നത്. ഞങ്ങൾ പള്ളിയിൽ വന്നാൽ ഞങ്ങളെ പിടിച്ചു നിർത്തുന്ന ഉൾപ്പെടെ ചെറിയ പിള്ളേരായ ഞങ്ങളെ പിടിച്ചു നിർത്തുന്ന ഉൾപ്പെടെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ പുള്ളിയുടെ ഉത്തരവാദിത്തമായിരുന്നു. അതിനുശേഷമൊക്കെയാണ് ഞങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഒത്തിരി ചെറുതാണ് എങ്കിൽ പോലും ഈ ബേക്കുട്ടിച്ചാനുമായിട്ടൊക്കെ പരിചയപ്പെട്ടത് നമ്മുടെ കുടുംബ ബന്ധവും കുടുംബ കെട്ടിടങ്ങളും ഒക്കെ ആയിക്കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോഴാണ്. അദ്ദേഹമൊക്കെ അമേരിക്കയിലായിരുന്നു. അതിനുശേഷം ഞങ്ങളുമായിട്ട് വലിയ ബന്ധം സ്ഥാപിച്ചു. നമ്മുടെ കുടുംബവുമായിട്ട് ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട് ഞാൻ കുറേ വർഷമായിട്ട് കുടുംബത്തിൻ്റെ വൈസ് പ്രസിഡൻ്റാണ്. അന്നേരം എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും ഭാവിച്ചാൻ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ തന്നെ എല്ലാ കാര്യത്തിലും ഞങ്ങളെല്ലാം കൂട്ടി യോജിപ്പിച്ച് ഏത് കാര്യവും ചെയ്യാനുള്ള മനസ്സോടുകൂടി നമ്മളൊക്കെ ഒരു പ്രൊജക്റ്റ് തന്ന് അത് നടപ്പിലാക്കണമെന്ന് നിർബന്ധമുണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഒരു വ്യക്തിത്വമായിരുന്നു ബേബിച്ചാൻ. അത് ആ അപ്പച്ചൻ്റെ ആ നിർദ്ദേശമാണ് അദ്ദേഹം പാലിച്ചത്. ആ പിതാവ് എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടോ അത് ഈ മക്കൾ സാധിച്ചു കൊടുക്കുമായിരുന്നു. കാരണം അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ വലിയൊരു മോഹമായിരുന്നു തുമ്പോൺ ജംഗ്ഷൻ ചക്കിട്ടടുത്ത് മുക്കിന് ഒരു കുടുംബ കെട്ടിടം, പഴയ നമ്മുടെ കുടുംബത്തിൻ്റെ സ്ഥലം തന്നെ, അവിടെ കെട്ടിടം പണിയണം എന്നുള്ള നിർബന്ധമായിരുന്നു. അത് ബേബിക്കുട്ടിച്ചാൻ അത് അക്ഷരാർത്ഥത്തിൽ അത് പാലിക്കപ്പെട്ടു എന്നാണ് ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളത്.
ഞാൻ അദ്ദേഹം അവധിക്ക് വരുന്ന സമയത്തൊക്കെയാണ് കണ്ടുമുട്ടുന്നത്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ അനിയനുമായിട്ടാണ് എനിക്ക് കൂടുതൽ അടുപ്പം. ഞങ്ങളൊരു പ്രായക്കാരാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം ഡോക്ടറാണ്, ഇപ്പം നാട്ടിലുണ്ട്. വരുമ്പോഴൊക്കെ കാണാറുണ്ട്.
പുള്ളിയുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയൊരു പോസിറ്റീവായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു നേച്ചർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ കുടുംബ ബന്ധങ്ങൾ കാത്തു സൂക്ഷിക്കുന്നതിനും മിടുക്കനാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് ഈ കുടുംബക്കെട്ട് ഇവിടെ കിട്ടാൻ കാരണം. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ ഫാദറായിട്ട് ഞങ്ങളുടെ തന്നെ ഒരു ഫാമിലി മെമ്പറുടെ ഈ വസ്തു വാങ്ങിച്ചിട്ട് ഇവിടെ ഇട്ടിരുന്നു. അദ്ദേഹം പറഞ്ഞു ആർക്കും പണിയാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ തന്നെ പണിയും. പക്ഷേ അത് ബേക്കുട്ടിച്ചാന് അത് ഏറ്റെടുത്തിട്ട് അത്രയും പൈസയും അദ്ദേഹമാണ് ഇത് മൊത്തം മുടക്കിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെ വലിയൊരു മനസ്സിൻ്റെ ഉടമയാണ്. അതായത് ബന്ധങ്ങൾ ഒരിക്കലും ശിഥിലമായി പോകാൻ പാടില്ല. എപ്പോഴും ആ കണക്ടിവിറ്റി നഷ്ടപ്പെടരുത്. അങ്ങനെ ആഗ്രഹമുള്ള ഒരു മനുഷ്യനായിരുന്നു ബേക്കുട്ടിച്ച്. അതിപ്പോഴും തുടരുന്നു. 80ലേക്ക് കടക്കുക. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഈ പുസ്തകം പ്രകാശനം ചെയ്തത്.
പുള്ളിയുടെ ആ ചെറുപ്പകാലത്തുള്ള കുസൃതിക്കരങ്ങളെല്ലാം ഇപ്പോഴും ഒരുമാതിരി ഓർമ്മയിലുള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് എല്ലാ കാര്യത്തിനും പുള്ളി മുന്നേ ആക്റ്റീവായിട്ട് നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരു വ്യക്തിയുമായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോഴും അതുതന്നെയാണ്. ഞങ്ങളുടെ വീട്ടുകൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി വളരെ സഹായങ്ങളും സപ്പോർട്ടും ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു വ്യക്തി എന്ന നിലയിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് കൂടുതൽ ബഹുമാനമുണ്ട്.
Now, as we are sitting in one corner of the MG High School, what was your first impression from a LP school to a high school, coming to a high school?
I was not too sure how I was going to fit in. Only just in my stature, I was very small, probably the smallest in the class. Of course, there was bullies in those days. But academically, I didn't have any problem. I always aced, meaning 100% on everything. And that fear of the fitting with all the other children obviously went away quickly because I was able to make some very good friends. I still have a couple of them, and we keep in touch.
So you felt this as a pressure, a social pressure?
Essentially, I wasn't too sure how I would fit.
Okay.
Because of my
Because
size.
of your size, not for the academic reason.
No, they could touch me with a 10-foot pole. So that was the only thing. But I'm pretty good in making friends, as you may sense.
Absolutely.
I know how to use the right word, and I know how to kind words. I know how to make them to listen to me and build a story. And using that, I almost instantaneously made new friends.
I heard that you used to get influenced by the priest, and then you kind of acquired the leadership quality. Would you mind talking about that?
Here what I did is that I want to be a leader.
Okay.
So I was a pretty good public speaker, so to speak, from my middle school onwards.
Okay.
And then I decided I will join the Scouts movement. You probably know that, okay? And they had two troops here. One troop is 32 and 32. And the Scoutmaster in those days decided he's going to combine and have one person for those two troops. And he did not ask me if I was interested in it. And there are multiple reasons for it. So I was going to wait for his asking.
Okay.
So I decided I'm going to be the troop leader for both. And that's not a small story, so I'm going to say a couple of more words. Is that I forced the Scoutmaster, instead of he making the decision, put it for the vote of that 64 students.
Not only for you, for the entire students.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I think I was the most qualified because I had the first grade or the first level of the leadership badge already applied by nobody other than by the Scouts and Guides. And I was a good speaker, and I could physically I fit it. And he could not say no because I would just go and raise hell. That you're not under me because these kids are, and let me show them what I know at that age, and we forced it, and then he thought I was not going to be. Out of the 64, I had 60 of them voted for me. So I was the troop leader, and there is a picture in my book
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
That's not just said, there's evidence. I was, on the graduating class, I was sitting right next to the principal. And you don't sit next to the principal unless
Absolutely. And
exactly.
people used to get
so
scared.
that was just my early leadership role. I had to push my way through, and because I wasn't good with garbage.
Okay, so I have read somewhere in the book that you used to gather your friends and used to speak
Yeah.
and make them listen to you.
Yeah,
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, it was. I didn't think in today's words of leadership. I think.
It's a beginning of.
Yeah, probably I was very selfish then and now, and that's nothing wrong. I don't see anything being selfish. And I use a lot of I word if you listen to me, and I meaning Malayalam is nyan meaning aham meaning nyan, aham meaning only me. Okay, then that's where the word aham bhava, self-portrait. Okay, that's how the word came. So that was something in me, and almost everybody other than I would say almost everybody, all of us 7 buildings had some kind of a leadership in their graduating class or in the class, especially my 2 younger ones, and they're straight A's, and one is have a degree in statistics, and then the other one is a doctor with all kind of degrees.
Okay.
So we were all leaders, and that's how we were trained. My father was. Any dispute in town was to my father, and he makes a ruling.
Okay, somewhere it's coming from there.
Yeah.
Some qualities from him as well. The leadership quality.
Yeah, exactly. So we were trained that, and I liked it. I still like that. I'm not going to say take it in less. I can do it. Try me.
Right. Nowadays you have social media. You see kids using phones, and even the classes sometimes it happens online. During your time, there was no social media.
No.
So how was it? How did you communicate, or how did you, the difference? Like,
yeah, you went home, essentially you went out and played with your friends, and then you did your homework, and then if you didn't get a good grade, at my home, my father couldn't, I don't know how else to say it, he never showed any interest in our education. It was all my mother.
Okay.
My mother decided we are going to get good grades, what she had a say in it, and you don't want to be in her front. So I did my best and tried to keep. By the time I'm here, no time for it. As you know, I talk a lot, and then that ability to retain what is taught in school started to diminish. So my grades started to drop in high school.
okay.
But my leadership was always there. I was a football captain. I was always called if they cannot find a person to chair a students' meeting, and I'm one among them. When we have assemblies and they will ask, there will be a governor like our structure, there will be a prime minister, the chief minister, and there will be a finance minister, and there will be an education minister. I was always finance minister. Put a budget,
Okay.
never only heard about it. So leadership have never faded, but little of things that I don't want to say on here. It's in the book that I started to drop. So I still didn't flunk out anywhere. I passed high school without no problem, and then when on my pre-degree I had second class, and then from there I went to college and taking
Yes.
physics and math. Physics is very tough.
Okay.
So that's the leadership thing, how I felt it.
Okay. So any childhood traits or skills that has been influenced till today?
Yeah, there are multiple things, and in high school,
Maybe the first
Yeah.
couple of things that comes
Yeah.
to your mind.
the first thing is that I did not like to do homework, and but that's all happened in high school. So what I would do is that when I get home, usually I play soccer or basketball or something before I get home, and I'll go ahead and put my books on the table and sit down and do the homework, because I don't want to do it. Because if I don't do it, it's going to be in my brain coming, and that bothers the hell out of me. So I just will I get it done.
So were you scared about the teacher that tomorrow if I don't do my homework, the teacher might punish me and make me
The
stand
teachers
outside
will
the class?
punish. And so then if I don't know something, I try to ask my siblings, because they were all unbelievably smart. My mother could help very little during those days. And if I don't, I have a better way of doing it. I had two good friends, and I call them. Once is George Philip. We still talk. I tell him, hey, you did the homework? Can you just come a little early, because I want to check if mine is correct? Well, I haven't even done it.
So any incident that is still affects you?
Nothing really affects me from high school, other than I have very fond memories of two of the teachers. I really believe one was P.G. George and the other one was Nambudiri sir. So what they taught me is still ingrained in my brain. And the P.G. George sir taught English. And not only that he taught English, he was a poet, he writes and things like that. When he teaches, you learn. The way he teaches, you couldn't even be distracted. That's how great he was, and that's a well-known fact. Even today, he passed away not a long time ago. And then there was another teacher who was Nambudiri, and he was a Malayalam teacher.
Okay.
And he taught it, he never brought the book. He never looked at the book. And he talked about a little bit from the book, and he taught about something else, how Sahityam is. And he would come and say, you cannot sacrifice a quality of a song or a music line, and sometimes that music means something. So he would say, one of the things he taught us is that Kiriluri Varigal Ariola Ihachandiyum Melilingimugul Mala Mula Mudalung Bulakamara Chindiyum. So that's hard to remember. And then there is you can write music like a clubs. Okay. So you start here, you say Kadidittu Chalaloga, Kalola Dilamaliga, Kalimayangal Kalaga, Kalagandicha Tiruga.
So is that the trick that you still use?
Yeah, it's still, that's all that kind of stuff still is in my brain from high school.
Absolutely wonderful, sir.
Yeah.
To know that, even I can use the same trick.
Yeah.
Teach me later.
Yeah. So the thing is that you start here, you come here, and then you start again on that one, you come here, and you become
Clover.
Exactly. Okay.
All right. So let's hear from you that, when did you, almost after finishing your high school or in between, did you realize that when did you start becoming aware of who you were wanting to be a person?
That was early, most probably I would say in middle school.
Okay.
And I had this bad habit, whether you publish it or not, it's true, my wife knows all this stuff. I always was attracted to girls. Okay. So if I see somebody, I want to be their friend. And if I can't, and I know from my elementary school, the only way I get freedom is by writing about it.
Okay. So you started
I write
writing
poems. Not letters, no love letters, just poems. Pretty good. And I remember many of them. One of them was a Brahmin girl, very, very cute. And so she wouldn't even talk to me. So, because I was Christian. So I said, Jadiyum Jatyavun Janmetta Hoshavum Uchatrucharichidnaha Ucharananjega Ivarandara Kinarapada Parishagale.
I think I need to bring you back here. So were you excited to go to the next level after you finished your high school?
I was not excited, to be honest, because I didn't want to go to college, but it was not by choice.
Okay, but were about to get your freedom to go independently to the college.
The thinking process actually was not that. You may not want
Okay.
to hear it, but the thinking process was not. What is it? I call it WIFM. What is in it for me? What is the next level?
And that
You
is
know,
curiosity.
Yeah, that's curiosity essentially. And I just didn't want to have nothing to do with the college. But if I could choose it, I would say no. But my mother said
You didn't have a choice.
she made that decision. It wasn't what I made. She decided she wanted an engineer, and I just happened to have had to bear that cross, and I didn't. I failed her essentially, but I did better.
I'm not sure about that you
Yeah.
failed her.
Yeah. So my mother probably loved me most, and everybody knows that too. And my wife, my wife didn't have any child. Mother, what she was, and when she saw my mother, she just couldn't believe she had another mother. And my mother took care of my mother, loved her so much, and she did so much for my mother. It was a big, so that made my life a lot easier. Can you just imagine a Marimola and Mamaima doesn't get along? That's hell.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
എൻ്റെ പേര് റോയ് ജോൺ. ഞാൻ തുമ്പവൺ മാർ ഗ്രിഗോറിയോസ് ഹയർ സെക്കൻഡറി സ്കൂളിൻ്റെ ഹെഡ് മാസ്റ്ററാണ്. 1901 പരിശുദ്ധനായ പരിമല തിരുമേനിയുടെ തൃക്കരങ്ങളാൽ ശിലാസ്ഥാപനം നിർവഹിച്ച MG മിഡിൽ സ്കൂളിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി 1949 സ്ഥാപിതമായിട്ടുള്ള സ്ഥാപനമാണ് ഈ സ്കൂള്. 1949 സ്ഥാപിതമായ സ്കൂളിൻ്റെ സപ്തതി ആഘോഷം 2019 നമ്മൾ നടത്തുകയുണ്ടായി. ഈ സപ്തതിയോടനുബന്ധിച്ച് ഒരു പുതിയ കെട്ടിടം നിർമ്മിക്കണം എന്ന് നമ്മൾ ആഗ്രഹിച്ചിരുന്നു. അതിന് ഏറ്റവും അധികം സഹായം ചെയ്ത ഒരു കുടുംബമാണ് നമ്മുടെ ചക്കട്ടെടുത്ത കുടുംബം. അദ്ദേഹത്തിലെ ആ കുടുംബത്തിലെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട CO മാത്യൂസ് അച്ചായൻ അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ മാതാവിൻ്റെയും മകളുടെയും പേരിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് 2 മുറി വെച്ച് തരികയുണ്ടായി. പല സമയത്തും അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ കുടുംബത്തിൻ്റെ ധാരാളമായ സഹായങ്ങൾ നമുക്ക് ലഭിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. തുടർന്നും ആ സഹായങ്ങൾ ലഭിക്കുമെന്ന് പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നു. ആ കുടുംബത്തോടുള്ള പ്രത്യേകമായ നന്ദി, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് CO മാത്യൂസ് അച്ചായനോടുള്ള പ്രത്യേകമായ നന്ദി സ്കൂളിൻ്റെ പേരിൽ അറിയിക്കുന്നു.
So as you entered the gate, did you felt the freedom because you were entering to your adulthood? So did you felt that freedom here? How was the feeling?
I felt very overwhelmed. I felt in a place that my freedom can really for sure, because I spent so many years here.
Okay. So what was your expectation? What was the expectation that you were carrying while you were walking inside?
When I walked in here, I had to really find a place, because this wasn't how it was.
Mm-hmm.
I had my, wow, how did they do this thing? And I was pretty happy to see my college have grown into a big place.
Any particular moment that you still remember with your friends? Any good moments or anything which you would want to forget that you never forgot?
I haven't forgotten anything. The biggest thing was that how the life in here made me who I am today. That is not a small statement, because there is a lot of memories. I came in here, I was 16 years old, and all the teenage stuff in my mind. And unfortunately or fortunately, every young people looked pretty. Yeah. So I was ready for.
Okay. So when you meant pretty, he understood that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I want to
So
say every young girl, but I can't say
okay.
that.
Okay. Okay. So how did you used to travel by bus or
I used to travel by bus for the first year,
okay?
and then onwards I stayed in I stayed in a rented private property just right down the street with three other people
Okay, for the convenience.
for the convenience.
Okay. All right. All right. So I would like to ask any of your favorite teachers that made any motivational statement in your during your college days?
The teacher who made the most impact on me was Professor Mahagavi Uttankawa Matantaragan, and he was well known then and now. He have taken multiple classes. If I could get into his class, I would do that. And that I have a lot of fond memory because he was such a great teacher.
What is that one thing that you always resonate with you from this place?
Because when Tharagan sir came to class, he never had a book in his hand. All the other teachers I know, regardless of what they taught, they had a book. He did not. He just never came to the class just to read those lines and tell you what it is. He came to tell you what the line is and then say, what does that mean to you? Because poetry is actually the songs of the mind.
So is that the influence that in your life that you started writing poems?
Actually, that is one of the things I figured it out. If he can do it, and he always told us how you can do it, how you can see the world, because he was a visionary, he was a Mahagavi, you know. He didn't done this not for everybody, and all my friends almost always came to the class when Tharagan sir was lecturing. Okay.
Okay.
But otherwise, for all the other subject, only half came.
So you used to bunk classes, that means?
Yeah. I mean, we all did it, but all depends.
You had
on
a practice
Yeah.
of bunking at that particular time?
Yeah. But
Yeah?
you know, we get punished if you didn't show up, and then they wrote letters to our parents and all kind of crazy things. But it was those days. The teachers were it. You can't say nothing else. You cannot talk back to them. You cannot have your unda. You can. It just they were gods.
Yeah. So you feel any difference from that era with this era when you see? Do you see any difference between in like when you talk about the teachers or the students or the way we study, the teaching methods? Do you feel any difference?
Yes. See, then it was actually the old Gurukulam teaching. You came in here to learn. I did write 12 lines of a poetry, obviously 4 lines, 3 stanzas. And I have very specifically said is that what it is all about. And one of the things is that you came in here with the idea of learning, but you left in here with the idea of not what you have learned, what is love, what life is, what you can do with your life. And for that day, the last moment, we are separating ourselves, and I cried. That's just it. Those things. It's not exactly the word. That's the meaning of it.
So, so are there any friendships that is still close to your heart
Absolutely.
since then?
Absolutely.
Can you name it or why they are still close to your heart?
There are my closest friend was a guy by the name Mathews, and he went on and getting a PhD in nuclear physicist. He was one of the architects of our nuclear program in BARC in Bombay. And then there is a couple of other people, and all the 4 ladies, and we had a ring which was them and then 4 or 5 of us. 2 of us have passed away from that because they had some kind of a disease. So one is still bedridden. So it still is. We all talk about it every time we gather somewhere. We ask them if they could come. And one of them is in Florida, in America. We talk to each other. Yesterday she called me 4 times. She wanted me to the link. And then she called one of the other guys. They sent the link.
How often do you meet? I mean,
We were meeting once a year, but now a couple of us are gone, and we had several people our class are gone because of the age, and we try to meet once a year if we can. But either when I come every time, which is not that often, we will meet some other. Last year I was here. We met. We got about 14 of us. That was in Trivandrum. And they all liked it. Coming from here to Trivandrum is a whole day's job, So we try to meet as often, but sometimes try once a year.
okay. So let's talk about the extracurricular activities that you used to do, your interest. Like you mentioned that you used to write poems. Like I heard that you were a soccer player.
Yeah, I was a good soccer player in those days, and that was my passion. Then, especially for boys, that was the thing then, and the girls it was mainly tennis, and I played that at least 2 years. The second and third year and the fourth year, I just didn't want to do it anymore because I was just so afraid I'm spending time on it. So soccer was my big thing, and we played right here in this field in the front.
So once you were about to complete your graduation, so is this the place where when you decided that you want to explore the other side of the world?
Absolutely, because at that time the college was not just get a 4-year degree, and the college was a place where like-minded people met and worked together. All the terrible things you can do to those who didn't like it and got away with it, and then started to drink and smoke. There was no drugs available then, thank God, and a lot of behavioral formulation of what I become was in here because I could test the waters here.
Okay.
So
once you have decided that you want to go to the US, and you want to explore the other side, so were you very apprehensive or were you excited about that?
both.
Okay.
I was apprehensive because I didn't know what the culture was. For example, I thought all white people have white hair. I didn't know any different. So I had to ask my brother that, and he said, no, mostly all black people have black hair, but that doesn't mean all white people have white hair. And so that
It was a very innocent thought, I would say.
yeah, exactly, very innocent. So, and then the excitement was that now I am free because I don't know how we wanted to edit this thing. I want us under the thumb at home. I couldn't even sneeze high, so I said I wanted my freedom.
Okay.
I am under the thumb of the person who was doing it, and my mother house said is that the sky is the limit and there is no end. Do what you wanted, but stay safe. She was always worried about my safety because I was a naughty kid, So those my freedom and my desire to get what is out there from that one speech of John Kennedy. That was really what pushed me in there. So I have both at the same time. My mother isn't there then to control me.
I'm sure wherever she is, she's the happiest person.
Yeah, she is. I know it.
It was a good decision, I would say, that you went to US and you did you achieved so many things in life.
Yeah.
And one last thing I would like to ask, after so many years, you have revisited, you entered the same gate of the Catholic College. And what was the first feeling that came across, or what was the first memory that flashed?
The feeling was that I was astonished, I was unbelievably surprised that this college was built to this level by the church which owns it, and then by the people who were generously contributed. Like today, when I came in, that I sat down, she said, I have a need, and she said, can you give me something? And I shouldn't say this thing, but I'm being so philanthropic because I went to America, I got when landed $7.20. Okay, that's all I had. And then I wasn't going to take a no, and I got not promoted, and you know all that story. And I got out and put my pants out and then showed him where my white sisters are, and then I ran. And if I was able to take that courageous of a step, and if I made this horrendous amount of finance or money that I could never even imagine, I said, I'm not going to leave everything for anybody, my kids. They don't ask for that early education. They said, not even a penny for the two of my son and my daughter. And then I thought, let me just give a little bit to the people, and I do, and I told you that.
A warm welcome to you, sir, after 55 years to this alma mater.
I'm glad to be here. I was actually overwhelmed to see it at this stage because when I left, there was the old 3-story or 2-story building. And we used to go on top of it before Dr. J. Alexander come. We will just say loudly, and I told her this, rich father, pocket empty. And then if we get caught, we are out.
Gone are those old days.
Yeah.
Today I am the principal of this college. Now we have to see that we have 10 research centers spread over this 22 acres of land. And we are glad that you had come over to see the present state of the college. It has grown so high, and now we are going to celebrate the 75th anniversary of this college. So always welcome you, sir, to this alma mater. See that when you are in Kerala, please do be in this sand where you have grown up, where you were groomed to the present situation.
All that is perfectly correct, because when Shannon asked me the things, and I said, a lot of people come in here just to get a degree. And at the end, when we finished, and they asked me, I was a clown of the class, and they asked me, what would you say? I just reached out to my pocket, read something, which was, everybody comes and it's a poem. I used to write poem very well, and then I still do. And then it was, we came in here just to get educated, but we are leaving with much more. Your brain is expanded, their horizon is greater, and your life is even going to be much, much more beyond, and the sky is not the limit.
True. I think we have to tell that when students come here, we make them fly.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. Exactly. So it's a good place, renowned professors, good people, qualified, educated. We don't have any PhDs in this class, in this college. I think it was Dr. Kuttapan, it was the first PhD from what I can remember. And then we got a couple of people went on and got on, and then very few actual female teachers. Mathematics have 3 or 4 of them, you know, but physics had none, and then came 2 people. And they said, where did you get a MSc physics teacher? So the times were different.
Yeah. Now it's already totally changed.
Yeah, exactly.
There are more PhDs now.
Yeah,
Now there are more women teachers.
Yeah.
And all those have changed completely.
exactly.
But then the institution's level is maintaining.
Yeah.
That is the most thing we can just tell.
Having all that postgraduate and then doctorate program is your strength.
Yeah, sure.
You know, as
Because
long
you have to compete the international level, no?
exactly.
So having papers in an international journal
Yeah,
is much valued than what you are doing
exactly. I agree
in this.
100%.
So, anything that you would like to, conclude here?
Well, college cannot be just taken as a place just to learn something. If you open your mind, it is a lot more in it. If you have noticed it, when the principal told me here, she hated to see this garden again. She wanted to get it done, and I said, "How much do you need it?" And she was a little bit frigid to ask me. She said, "It will be over 1.2 lakhs." I said, "Done." And then on my way out, I said, "Don't limit. Do the best."
I think that's how we end the conversation. Is that there is no limit. The sky is not the limit.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering and for being patient. Yeah. We have lived the life of a village boy in Kerala, and now we are going to fly to New York to see and explore the other side of the world with Mr. Mathews.